This episode goes out to the one and only person who's ever viewed it, Doraemon9123. As much as I love Japan, we're going to get into what he mentioned. Deeper topics from the book The Alchemist, which I have read and really like. And another book, Don't Believe Everything You Think, which I haven't read yet, but I've had recommended to me by two different people that I really respect a lot, and it's on my queue of things to listen to, read very soon. Funny enough, all of my YouTube work began because I wanted to talk more about that. These things have been the biggest improvements in my life. The quality, have joy moment to moment, and the external things I've actually got brought into it too, which other people can notice. But from 3 years of powering down that road, I have learned it is impossible to give that to another person. And you certainly can't sell it as a product. What I have seen is it's incredibly powerful for yourself. So if you're already interested in this kind of thing, we could get into another angle of this today that might help you, get a little bit more out of it. But if you're not into it, I'm not going to try and pull your leg on this. I'm not going to try and twist your arm. What I found is if somebody has already taught you something very useful, especially if it's some kind of soft skill, then you'd be willing to listen to them. They'd say, hey, you should try this Alchemist book. And you will think, logically and rightly, well, that sounds freaking insane. What? Why am I going to do that? Like, what am I even going to get out of that? There is no tangible benefit. And I got all these other things I have to do with my time. And you'd be right. But because that person had taught you something else that you really valued, you would stop and say, all right, I don't get it, but I trust you, so I will do it just out of that trust. Then you do it, and you go, holy crap, I love this. I wish I'd done it years ago. This is just how it has to happen for everybody. Now, that's the core of all of this topic, this deep personal development. The good stuff all falls into that category of you cannot tell what it's going to do for you until you've already done it, which is a big reason why people don't do it till later in life. I actually gave this a name. The very first YouTube video I ever made that I put work into is about what I call shadow learning. Things where you don't know what the result's going to be. You don't know the benefit, the positive outcome. And those are real hard things to convince yourself to do. We're very, very familiar with outcome-based learning. That's what we learn in school and employment and everything, where I need you to tell me what I'm going to get out of this and all the steps that lead me up to getting that before we take the first step. You're not getting a student loan approved without that. And it does work great. There's a lot of valuable, important things we learn that way. I'm not saying we should stop. It's just that's not the only thing we need. That's one half. After you've learned all of that and got as much as you can, and like me, lying on my back in my bedroom, staring at the ceiling with the girl of my dreams next to my arm and the career of my dreams, thinking, why do I feel like I'm still missing half of everything I want to have in life? Once you reach that point of having all the things that you can measure, that's the only time you'll be willing to start, well, what the fuck is left? I guess I'll try this weirdo stuff. And then go, oh my God, it is. It's great. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. The Alchemist, Mr. Doraemon inspired me. I actually bought the graphic novel copy of it for this. I like this. Don't tell him, but I'm going to get this for my brother's birthday too. This is really, really nice. It's a good story on multiple different values. So we could talk about 3 different things that are a big life lesson that would be worth just an entire year of study. But I have one in particular one I'm going to get into. The overarching thing. So don't believe everything you think. These both together are a really good step into that shadow learning of. Be a little more flexible, more open to things that you could learn that don't have such a concrete answer. Don't believe everything you think. It's more about your criticisms, your self-doubt, the things that can stop you from doing things that could hurt you and cause a lot of problems, has legitimately saved you a lot of anguish. It has done a lot to get you where you are today. But then you reach a ceiling and you have to start developing more skill of when is it important to turn this off? When am I being too critical about the ideas I could have or what I could be? And that comes down to, am I just not able to enjoy the things I have? The experience of being me, even though I have all this great stuff? Or are these really key things just for the basic things of life? You're trying to start a business and you're cutting yourself off at the knees because you never take risks on things that your gut tells you there might be something there, but you can't fully explain yet. If it's fully explainable, someone's already done it and there's no profit left in that area. So this ability to have a little bit of I can tell there's something. We're not just randomly picking, but it's going to be a little leap of faith, is huge for even the concrete parts of life. Now, what I see happening a lot in this, these guys still not sponsoring me yet. What I see happening a lot in this, in my life, is I will do all these things and I'll still feel anxious that I'm not doing enough. And at the end of the day, I realize I'm just not enjoying any of it. Chris William talks about that a lot. It's a common thing a lot of us experience. And sure, okay, it's robbing you the ability to enjoy the process of building, which is one of the most exquisite part of being human. And you're not enjoying your day. That's a big problem. But everything points to this actually makes you worse of an executioner, worse at getting things done. So if you really are wanting this stuff completed, if you really do want these dreams achieved, if this really matters so much to have done, this overthinking and being anxious about it slows you down and makes it worse. So we're going to talk a little bit about how to get past that so you can be more effective while actually enjoying the life you have right now. The number one lesson I've learned for this, God, I love this saying. Imagine you live the perfect life. So what does that mean? That means every single time you've had a choice, you made the right call every single time. So this means that you have gotten the most possible. Maybe you don't get everything because you're not the only one in control of the world, but everything possible you could have done, you did. Everything possible you could have got, you've gotten. So your life is great, but better than all of that, like you should have no regrets at all, right? You made the right call every single time. And man, just having no regrets is that's the biggest gem of all. That is a wealth. But no, that's not how this works at fucking at all. Because every single decision, most of the time, you're choosing between a good thing and a great thing. And you made the right choice. You chose the great thing, the better one. But you choosing that, you sacrificed the good thing. So even the perfect life, my friend, you are leaving a lifetime of regrets, of things that you would have loved to have, that pain you did not have, but having those would have sacrificed something even better. Sum it up, perfect life is still guaranteed to have a lot of regrets. So, what the fuck do we do with that? For me, that makes me calm down a whole lot of, just because I feel regret doesn't mean I did anything wrong. This could actually be the best path possible. So that's a lot of the strength you could get from reading Don't Believe Everything You Think. Because you will get blinded, those blinders on, and in the moment, really just see, like, oh crap. I didn't really socialize a lot this year because I was working on my business. That's a lot of regret. Man, now I'm regretting it. And just that whole goes through. You can really get more skill at that ability of noticing, yeah, I regret that. And that's okay. I don't need to be judgmental about these feelings I had. I'll just let it go. and move on. Somebody said, the key to life is learning to accept the regrets for choosing what you wanted. And I struggle with that. That's been hitting me a lot today, actually, where I'm so excited with the things I'm working on, but I have to say no to a lot of things. And I forget that losing those things is the price you have to pay to get the thing that you really wanted most. I'm going to say this all ties into my overarching theme. Well, why make it about me? Our overarching theme. Everybody's going to have to think about it whether they want to or not. AI is making things happen so fast. It's making our abilities so much bigger every moment that the amount of regret you have it's getting amped up. We notice a little bit that, oh crap, I can do so many more things and I can create so much more. And I feel that little buzz of excitement right now, that feeling of wonder of so much crap that I can build right now, that I'm looking at my laptop right now of, I want to do this, but also I regret not doing more of that. We don't do as good of a job to notice that we have that in exchange for the increased number of things we're saying no to. It's just increasing so fast, I'm not adjusting to it in time to really feel chill about it. So we're gonna have to help each other out with that, remind each other. The last part, Alchemist. It's a small slice, but my favorite lesson in this entire book is, I think, one of the most powerful there is anywhere. And it's this page right here. This entire book is about him achieving his big magical dream, foretold by gods and all kinds of wild things happening. This point in the book, he meets the love of his life. And this is where in traditional modern Western stories, everything goes out the window because nothing means more than social connection. And no social connection means more than romantic love. So everything, you have to give it up and stop because that's secondary. That's base compared to being with the woman of your dreams and then maybe having some babies. Directly say that if you do that, you will resent your woman. She will resent you. And not only will you lose the dream that you gave up for this, you will lose the relationship that you thought was so good it was worth throwing everything away, because you'll resent each other. And that does not sell movie tickets. So you're not going to hear this in a lot of places. But I found this to be true every single time. If you really, really care about any relationship, push even harder to make your dreams still be number one and have those friendships and loves be something that support that. Because every time you do that, every time I've done it, it makes them both work together. It's counterintuitive because it's just not what we're told, but give it a try and see if it starts making things better or worse. If it starts making things worse, you can bail out. You don't have to jump off the cliff on it, but test it out, because holy wow, it creates so much. It lets people breathe, because suddenly feel, okay, there's a little more distance, which makes me nervous, but I don't feel I have to be responsible for all of your happiness, because you have this dream, and I'm your comrade in arms by your side. I'm not the centerpiece that has to be holding up your entire world. And they get to be more them, and they grow to be more spacious in their experiences and your beliefs and feelings. It gives you more the person you like in the first place. It's top of my list of things that don't make you a good controllable peasant, but make you way more happy and way more contributing to actual people's happiness. So let's get into it.
Here are the two. How can I learn to accept and trust my thoughts, even the ones that seem negative or critical?
Trusting him is the right word. So you're asking a really good question. For trusting anything, the step is always take a small step that feels safe for you, but has enough risk that you got some skin in the game. Something that would bite, but not destroy you. With your feelings, you're talking about the negative and critical ones. All of them have something important to tell you. It doesn't mean you have to listen to them, follow the message they're telling them, but they're warning signs. And if a warning is ignored, it gets louder until you're acknowledged. So much of the productive work I do is in teams. And we have really smart people, and they will say, here's something that I'm seeing, and you don't have to throw out your plan for it, but I just need to know that you've seen it so that the plan we make isn't going to fall into this trap. That's what your negative criticizing emotions are doing. That, hey, this is a concern you have. This might be a hardwired reaction you have from when you were a kid. And it's not that they have to be smart and right that you listen to, but that you have to follow it, but you have to listen to them. Otherwise, they just get more intense and they start screwing up other things. So first, stop fighting it, take a beat and go, okay, so what's going on in there? Why do I feel that? Why do I feel that criticism? Okay, what does that mean? And what would happen if the worst case scenario that's saying happened? Okay, what would come out? And usually when you do that, they'll go, okay, there's a reason to feel that, but it doesn't apply here, so we don't need to change any plans. And the feelings will go away. Actually, that's not even correct. You'll stop feeling that pain of the feeling, but they'll become part of your whole feeling, where suddenly you have all parts of yourself aligned on the work you're doing. These things aren't trying to stop you. They're just trying to make sure that possibilities have been heard. Like, yeah, all right, we've been heard. Full speed ahead on this, because we know that we got the safety nets in place while we're going. It'll make you stronger.
What are some practical strategies for recognizing and releasing judgmental thoughts about myself and my experiences?
I think we covered that pretty well, where listen to it, see it, go down the road. Don't just go, oh, you're telling me to be upset about this. It's like, why? Like, what would happen if the worst case scenario happened? What are the things that are leading me to feel concerned about this? What's the cause of this? And most of the time it'll be, okay, there's something there, but it's a lot smaller than what it felt like in the beginning. The more precise you get on a negative emotion, the more clear its borders are, instead of the fuzziness which just expands to everywhere. Give that a try.
Judging your thoughts is a waste of time, and it's better to just follow your desires and see where they lead.
Well, there's truth in both of them. Following your gut, seeing where things lead, opens so many doors. If it's the wrong direction, you will find out really quick. There's not many situations with irreversible consequences. But at the same time, you don't just want to throw the judgments out. The more you fight them, the more they're going to embed in. Ooh, there's a phrase I heard yesterday that I really like. That a war is never over if someone has lost. You see that all the time. You win a battle, the other people lost, they just start digging in of how they're going to come back next time. The hate and the anger gets bigger. But if you can find some way where we're in control, but we're going to just find a way to steer you guys not into loss, but the version of success that you want, that is the most easy for me to deal with. So that's still giving you something, but it's my preferred of all the options. And then they feel, all right, yeah, all right, we got something. And then the battle ends. This is the exact same thing that you're doing with your judgmental thoughts and emotions. Because if you just try to ignore them, you can look like you're fine for a while, and it just digs in. And next thing you know, you have Michael Jordan syndrome, where you're rich and famous, but fucking miserable. Or Avicii, where you're not just rich, but you're rich as an entertainer, where everyone likes you and people want to date you and wants to be around you. And you're suicidal. So many people like this because of this crap. Theo Von has got a great life and so talented, and he gets upset about things. And the fact that he can directly go, hey, this is what I'm feeling. I didn't pick these feelings. You're not my fault, but this is it. He slowly starts getting more enjoyment out of his interior experience on top of all the great crap you've built in life.
As a person of faith, I believe that accepting my thoughts as they are allows me to stay closer to my higher power and trust in the universe's plan.
That makes a lot of sense. Regardless of the details of your belief system, it's pretty comfortable to say that we're part of a system that's really big. And if you look back at what makes you feel satisfied, happy, and complete, it's usually not having the thing. It's feeling that I'm doing a damn good job of being the part of the world that I'm supposed to be. I don't have to be the most powerful. I don't have to be the best at everything. Can't be the tallest person and the shortest person at the same time. I just have to be doing the right thing that I'm supposed to be doing. And that feels really great. It's calming. And also feels like you're accomplishing a lot. So, yeah. Accepting your thoughts as they are. Keep doing what you're trying to do. That seems like all we're supposed to be.
If I can learn to accept and trust my thoughts without judgment, will I be able to make peace with my past mistakes and regrets and move forward with greater ease and confidence?
Oh yeah, those are the biggest benefits you get right out of the box. So having more peace with your past mistakes, your past regrets, this is the front-loaded stuff. These are the rewards you start getting right away. And the longer you've been alive, the bigger your regrets, the more this payoff is. So again, your 20s, it might not be enough to tip you into action. 50s, you probably got enough stuff built up that this is so rewarding that it's actually gonna make you get your ass off the chair and do it. That's the first thing that comes, where, okay, I see how I was, either fighting stuff that I shouldn't have been doing, and now I know better, and the only way I could figure out that is to have more time, or just awareness of that step itself was what brought you to realizing things now. The whole metaphor of a sniper hits a bullet right in the center. That's great. All the bullets before were complete garbage because they missed. Like, no, those were the ones that taught him how to hit the center of the target. And if you didn't have those, this bullet would have missed. So all those mistakes in the past were the very right steps to get you to doing the right thing today.
How can I balance my desire to pursue my personal dreams and passions with the needs and expectations of my romantic partner and friends?
Ooh, hard one already. This can be hard the first time, because if you haven't done this before, the friendships and the romances you're in right now are built on that overemployment, that they're in that relationship because that's what they wanted. If you upgrade to something better, it's not going to be the default for them. It's easier to get into a relationship that's right and just roll with it than changing an existing one. But the good news is this can be much more rewarding. It's someone you already know you have a connection with. And they have some investment. So I'm not going to say this is just flip a light switch and it works on, but you have a budget of goodwill and affection that you can use to move things in a new direction that you wouldn't have in other situations. Sit down. If you're in a reasonably good relationship, you're talking about what you think about and believe. Mention that this is something that's on your mind lately and that you're thinking about it and you want to try some new things. The key is framing it as this is a step forward for both of you, that you're also curious if it would be helpful for them, but it's not something that they have to do. And that this is something that you feel is going to actually strengthen your relationship, even if it doesn't look like that's the right direction. If you're reading these kind of books and talking about these kind of things, you probably have a pretty pretty frequent awareness that a lot of things that we're shown and told aren't good for us. They're just making us more useful to other people. So sitting down and having a conversation with your girlfriend or your boyfriend about, hey, I know this looks like the opposite of what we should be doing to make our relationship better, but look around. It's not a guarantee that what we thought is a good idea was actually told to us out of benevolence. So let's find out for sure. Like, if we really care about each other, we should be the ones knowing for certain instead of just taking someone's word and crossing your fingers and hoping that it's going to make our relationship work good. So treat it like that, a shared experiment that you can learn together. And if the evidence works out wrong, you'll stop. If it works out right, then you'll keep going. Just still be a team.
What are some ways to communicate effectively with loved ones about my priorities and goals without feeling guilty or selfish?
Without feeling guilty or selfish, I'm going to turn this around and say, it's okay to feel guilty and selfish. It's a hard, we're going to have to go through that speed bump because this is change and this is part of the shackles that we're tied with. Sit down and think before any of this. Do you care about your friends? Do you care about your partner? Would you feel good about lying to them, betraying them, or hurting them on purpose? I think you know the answers to these. So if you have some concerns, and that's nice because you care about them, but the answer to these questions are pretty obvious, that you're not trying to hurt them, you're trying to do good for them. So the very fact that you feel nervous that you could be selfish is a very evidence that you're gonna be doing good stuff. Just keep trusting the fact that you can turn back if you don't see the proof, but this is something that will make things better for them as well as for you.
The more you prioritize your own happiness and fulfillment, the more you'll drain the happiness and energy from those around you.
You know, that is a fair criticism. You can completely do it that way. There is a form of only caring about your dreams, which is selfish to the point of being a leech. But that's not what we're talking about. I think we can be clear there are two different ways to do this, and we're talking about taking the burdens of obligations off of each other, where you give to each other and you add to each other, but it's not a mandatory tax. The difference between just your job and love is the difference between obligation and opportunity. So turning these things into an opportunity. If some of this will be an uncomfortable change for some people, but you can try it out for a while and see if they start getting joy out of it. Man, I didn't think about it much. I used to want to be the guy who was captain savior of everything for my girlfriend and the most important person in her life. And after giving this a try, I didn't realize how stressful that was until I took it off. That, like, how much pressure I have to do all this stuff and I have to be everything. Where it became, hey, she's got a full life and I can devote more on these interesting hobbies that I want to do something on, but we can add stuff to each other instead of having it to be this requirement, which just feels like you have to do it just to get to zero, instead of, I did all this great stuff for the person I love and that added to their life. That was a bonus.
As a single parent, I've learned to prioritize my relationships with my children and make sacrifices for their sake, but I wonder if I'm missing out on my own dreams and aspirations in the process.
Oh my god, which element? Apparently Llama 3-1 is obsessed with single parents and can't think of any other demographic to put into this mix. This is like the third time in a row. I'm like, you're an important one, but give me some more people, please. All right. Prioritizing over your children. This is another depth of trickiness, all right? Yeah, there's some hard hard floors on this one, that you have to do a large amount for your kids and take care of them and be able to first for them. What I would recommend for this person, there's a dark side to this that you're not seeing. And I'm not going to tell you that you should have stopped doing this or hold back from your children or anything. But get yourself familiar on what the dark side looks like so you can recognize it if you're going too far and avoid it. What this looks like is God, this guy had a rough life. I know one guy in particular in the dance community out here. And his mom was so close with him that it turned into this obligated relationship. You couldn't say it to their face, but she was replacing her ex-husband with her son. And for him, he thought it felt great growing up because I'm loved so much and I get so much attention. But it became this obligation. And again, he never even noticed it. He's like, this is great, we love each other, we're a good pair. And it looks right from the outside. You have to just double check. Is this a thing where he's not able to actually go away for college and start to pursue any of his dreams? She felt like she's doing everything she can for him by giving him tons of affection and attention. Just ask a question. In this case, the side effect, the downside, as she looked for it, was, man, he is cutting off his entire life. He's not growing, he's not doing anything else. And maybe day to day, it's nice to have that happy, fun relationship with his mom, but all these big dreams never growing into something cut him off from massive amounts of joy he could have. He was really insecure. He had supreme problems in his dating life. Everyone he dated would like, you're interesting and fun, and then get to know him, go like, oh man, there's some serious neediness here that's freaking me out, and he'd get dumped. And that would go away if he built more of his own life, but he had always held back, honestly, more from the feeling that he didn't want to abandon his mom than the fact that he couldn't live without that level of closeness anymore at being a full-on adult. So look out for that. There's many different forms this can take, and you're gonna have to make the judgment call yourself. But the whole point is, look out for it and see how much of this self-sacrifice I'm making is helping and how much might actually be causing problems, and then it'd be a win-win for you to dial back, pursue some of your dreams, model that, pursuing dreams to your children, as well as giving them the space they need to start doing the thing that they love. Last one, best one.
If I make my personal dreams and passions my top priority, will I be able to create a more balanced and fulfilling life that nourishes both myself and those around me, even if it means making difficult choices and facing challenges along the way?
Yes. 1,000 times yes. People love people who have made difficult choices. People love people who've overcome challenges. We gravitate to them. We feel like they're leaders. We feel like they're more human. And if you do those things, you'll be a richer person yourself, but you'll be a richer friend to them. There's one thing I want to leave us with today, which is another surprise, but it applies here. There's that saying that sitting in a room with someone who's very calm does more for you to learn about personal development than 10 years of therapy will. And it's true. It's one of these things where you can't really teach a lot with words, and experience does teach you a lot. So just being next to someone who's living their dream and is happy and has calm rubs off on other people in a way that they can't put into words real fast. So if the things you do, these changes you add into your life, reduce the amount of time you have to spend with people. The time you spend with them will be so powerful of an influence on them that it's going to be a huge net gain for them. So there's a strong reason right there not to be stressing out about carving the time out you need to be focusing on your dreams. So take some time. Think about, what are you pushing yourself too hard into? What are you pushing yourself too hard away from? And just for a while, give it a week. Just flow with what your thoughts are telling. Don't judge them. Don't try to push them away. Just let them be a part of you and see where it takes you. This is a good book. I am burned out on deep philosophy right now. I love it. I still love it, but I do so much of it. I need more levity and action for a while. But this is freaking good. A whole lot in a small package. I will get to the second book when I've refilled myself. But I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be great. So, thanks for the question, Doraemon. これから日本語を喋りましょうか. I'm gonna get back to building things on my personal AI tools and go hit the gym. Till next time.